Sublime magnificence.
Hey guys, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent Big Ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube, back with another episode of This Guy Hasn't Seen, a podcast wherein we share numerous experiences back and forth, and of course, can't share with myself, can't share alone. I am joined as usual by my co-host, runner mate, one of my best friends in the world, El Director himself, Bill Smith.
Omari, I thank you again for having me. I'm so excited about this week. It's, I think you said a couple of weeks ago, what has become a rare offering on your part. But yeah, I'm ready. Let's get right into it.
All right, yeah, that's right. So
what are we watching, Omari?
This week we are watching, like you said, a suggestion of mine. I went with New Jack City.
From 1991, rated R, a crime lord ascends to power and becomes megalomaniacal. Megalomaniacal. There you go. Thank you. While a maverick police detective vows to stop him. It is directed by Mario Van Peebles. It is written by Thomas Wright and Barry Michael Cooper, and it stars Wesley Snipes, Ice-T, Alan Payne, Chris Rock, Mario Van Peebles, Judd Nelson, a bunch of motherfuckers.
A lot of people in this movie were like, holy shit, this movie's a fucking time capsule.
Yeah, I feel like this is one that you check in about once a month, almost since we've started this podcast. Of like, have you seen New Jack City? And then fast forward a month. By the way, have you seen New Jack City? Fast forward a month. I think I've asked this before, but you haven't seen New Jack City, have you? But then you never pick it.
No, I hadn't. I don't think I did it that many times, but I can see why not. But
3 times for comedy.
Yeah, obviously. So for a while, as you know, we've been saying it. We said it a couple of times. A rare suggestion by me due to just lack of amount of films watched. So I would forget if I asked about something in between, like, sessions or whatever. And so eventually I started taking down notes of it, and I was like, and then if I remembered something, like, oh, I can actually take this down as a movie to ask about in the future. And with the most recent one, that's another movie that I think I saw, like a Hood Cinema or something on YouTube talking about it, and I was like, oh yeah, New Jack City. Let me ask Bill if he's seen this. You know, because as we're going to that well again, I've gone to the well a few times, or have attempted to go to the well, and you surprised me like, yeah, I've seen it already. So this is one of those things where I wasn't sure if you had seen it, just because I had forgotten over the course of the year. As far as to why I hadn't suggested it in the past, it has been a long time before today and for this since I actually saw the whole movie. And so a lot of times it was just like, I don't know, with whatever suggestion we just had before, if I should follow with New Jack City right now or some other time, or like I said, it just hadn't crossed my mind in between.
Sometimes it's really hard to follow up, to choose based on answering the question that is the week before's movie. Sometimes that's a dangerous practice to be on, but sometimes we've gotten pretty cool results from that.
Yeah, we did it a few times, but but even if it's not necessarily thematically the same, just like, oh shit, here's certified banger, one of the best, bams, and I will respond with, and I'm not saying anything about how I felt on this occasion because it had been a long time. Like, I was a kid last time I saw this. I didn't want to respond with New Jack City and it'd just be like, motherfucker, I gave you The Departed and you responded with The Greatest Showman? No. But you get my point. So that's another reason why if it had popped up. But recently I had another idea in mind last week, and I was like, I'm not following up in and of itself with that other thing. Fuck it. Let's go New Jack City. Pretty much it was the benefit of that thought process this time, as opposed to I'll risk it with New Jack City. Let's go. It's been a minute. So you this was a, considering all the people in this, had to have been like kind of big when it came out, like in the past and stuff, and considered at least a cult classic, if not a classic in its own right for reasons. Why hadn't you seen it, or had you heard of it and just not got around to it? Or
I knew the name. But as you described in kind of how you get to go to this well, really the main reason, the main excuse usually is just I'm outside of the culture, and so I'm trying to look into. I get to seek out sometimes, or every once in a while, it breaks onto a certain stratosphere. And 1991 is still a little too young for me to see it if it did break through. I'm seeing let's see, it had a budget of 8 million estimated, and opening weekend it did over $7 million. Total US and Canada gross $47.6 million. It was the highest grossing independent film of 1991. So yeah, it did pretty well. But yeah, this would have been too young for me. So
fair.
This had I don't recall, like, no scene in this really felt very familiar. So I don't recall this as being a film that was on cable a lot when I was at a cable surfing stop and watch a movie age, like how we discussed. It turned out that I had seen a lot of I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. Speaking of Chris Rock, that was one of the first scenes where I was like, okay, yeah, I've seen this entire I've seen this. I saw that bit earlier and I just didn't realize it, that kind of thing. This one, I don't think I had always heard about Pookie. Like, I had heard that in pop culture, in the lexicon. I knew about something Chris Rock and Pookie that I had never.
Yeah, he actually mentions it in his recent thing. He mentions him being Pookie.
Honestly, there was a part of there was a part of the back of my mind that always questioned if his character in CB4 is named Pookie, and I was like, all right, well, maybe it's his character in that.
Yeah, I forgot it was from this movie my damn self. I'm not gonna lie. I always associated Chris Rock with the name Pookie, kind of like you said. Like I said, because I may not have seen it in like 91 because I would have been just as too young as you were, especially given some of the stuff you see in the movie. But definitely in the 90s was the last time I saw this movie or anything from it. So Pookie, I hadn't really put it as the name of this character. I got it mixed up with I would think Pookie, and then I'm like, Pootie Tang? Because he was in that movie too, wasn't he? Pootie Tang? Yeah. So very similar names, Pookie and Pootie. So I'm just like, maybe I'm just thinking Pootie Tang, like that. But fair enough.
But yeah, I had not really seen it. It was funny in this household because I did not look up anything prior to it, and usually with each movie, at some point at around like either later tonight when I walk down this hallway, or at some point over the course of the weekend, I'll be like, oh, hey, by the way, sometime between like Tuesday and Thursday at 8, I have to watch X.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm not sure. And I had misremembered you quoting a ice person. And so I kept saying, I don't know, it's like an Ice Cube, I think it's like an early 90s Ice Cube movie. And so I don't know if that's like early 90s Ice Cube like Friday, or if that's like early 90s Ice Cube like that movie that I had to watch a while ago.
And then the movie starts. Ice-T comes.
And then at one point she's like, well, yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll watch a trailer to decide if she wanted to watch it. And so I pulled it up on YouTube, and I realized I don't want to watch this. So I just immediately click the search button and hand her the remote, and I walk out of the room. And I think as I'm talking about, and she's like, "What was it again?" And I was like, "It's like I don't know. It's like an early 90s Ice Cube movie." Is what I kept saying. And so I'm sure she must have immediately been like, "Okay, he has no idea what he's about to watch." So yeah, I was completely, and then obviously when I eventually did search it, I mean, I think it shouldn't be. The poster for the film is cool, and I would have appreciated that. But unfortunately, when I search it on YouTube, I believe the image is Wesley
with the crying
and full and yeah, with his tears. So that's okay, that's gonna happen at some point.
Yeah, that's a image that I've seen a lot of Wesley over the years.
Yeah, and as soon as I was about to hit play, I was like, oh, okay, well, I've seen that visual before, for sure.
So this is the movie that's from.
Yeah, that was one of those. Oh, there's that moment. So I get going, and I'm not crazy about the opening title sequence, the narration, but yeah, I very quickly see Ice-T, and I'm like, oh, okay, wait a minute. I completely, yeah, okay, so this is an Ice-T movie. Oh, Mario Van Peebles. Oh, Wesley Snipes. That kind of thing. And so I'm interested, and as soon as we're like handheld on the street right in front of Ice-T and Chris Rock's faces, I'm pretty into it. I'm like locked in right away. That I was it's interesting. It's interesting. We'll go deep into it.
Yeah, we can go right into
initial reactions.
Yeah,
What do you? How long has it been since you've seen this?
Over 20 years. So
okay, so what are you thinking when you?
I love the opening song. You know, the with the starting off kind of with the acapella dudes yeah, and the next thing it just goes, "What's up? It's Queen Latifah." I'm like, man, they just had all kinds of stuff. I'm immediately just well, this is one of those, and let's go back a couple decades just so you get an idea of what it means to be 90s. So there was a good amount of nostalgia, there. And the fucking opening bridge scene where you got the guy dangling with Wesley Snipes talking shit to him, and then see it, I wouldn't want to be here, but right before that, the lady screaming.
That's what it was. I was trying to get myself settled back here in the back room of the house, since I was watching it by myself, and my eyes aren't glued, and I'm just every time I look up, it's just kind of I'm not digging the shots of the city that they're doing, and then I'm hearing that scream. Oh my god, I forgot that was first. I was thinking the Ice-T Chris Rock was the first thing that we get to.
First thing we got was that, and then Wesley Snipes just being such a fucking character as he tells this dude he's about to fucking die with the way he was doing. I'm just oh, Wesley Snipes, you're very much you. But he definitely came in here to put in some work as this character. He's like, I'm going to be this guy for this movie.
Oh man, I rewound it because the lady's screams put me so off, but then I immediately got sucked into Wesley Snipes and needed to go back and really see his first few words. So I actually rewound it and had to listen to that bitch scream again because obviously streaming, it's not super precise anymore. Like back in the day with DVDs, you could like frame by frame that shit. Yeah, I am like so fucking locked into Wesley Snipes' performance in this movie. It's on another level. It's on another level.
And in his own way, Ice-T is also is on a level of his own.
My mother always taught me that it's better to shine a light than cast a shadow. And so Wesley Snipes is doing a great job in this film.
He is. I said he was also on another level. Is all I said. He's on a
what? What are you talking about?
I said Ice-T's on a level all his own. That's all. He's also
Ice-T's in this movie?
Ice-T is in this movie. He's on a level all his own. So we get to the drug deal, and that's when I was like, oh, okay. Cool. This is cool. I did like the little opening sequence with the chase down. And I don't love the radio chatter bit of like crime is up. I wasn't a fan either. I'm not in love with that. That kind of stitch these two moments together. Kind of, yeah.
Chris Rock, Ice-T. I love Chris Rock is Pookie. And immediately, even in this, like this is so early on in everybody's careers. As far as acting, like the only vet here is Judd Nelson and Mario Van Peebles, and so many of them are doing such a great job.
Yes. But yeah, so they have that whole thing, and then I noticed early on that the soundtrack has a lot of songs that are specifically made from the movie, as opposed to like nowadays.
Man, the soundtrack is killing it. The soundtrack's killing it.
New Jack, Hustler, New Jack. I'm just like, man, they really did just make their own soundtrack for the movie. It's been a while since you see movies that do that. That's not often, Usually they just take, hey, pop culture song. I don't give a damn about my reputation. But yeah, no. And just some of the earlier things, like I said, that put it as a fucking time capsule, like the fucking when they go to the club and you got Flavor Flav. And then the fucking beat is like based off of the fucking Inspector Gadget theme. And then it's like
I didn't even catch that.
I'm like, what is this Inspector Gadget ass beat with Flavor Flav on the stage? This is so fucking 90s.
I did not even catch that. I mean, I sure as hell call Flavor Flav. Yeah.
And then just the fucking you meet, his name wasn't Nico. What was his Wesley Snipes character's name?
No, that sounds right. Nino.
Yeah, Nino Brown.
Yeah,
we meet Nino Brown's whole like crew. Everybody, Alan Payne, I think you said is the other guy. G Money.
Yeah, that's G Money.
Yeah, we get G Money.
We got Bill Nunn.
Bill Nunn is the Dutta Man. The Dutta Man.
Yeah.
And which it sucks that that's the reason they call him that, but I kind of like the name, like the Dutta Man. Just
yeah.
Because they're just like, where's Dutta Man? Where's the Dutta Man at? I'm like, like the Stutter Man, but I don't like why they call him that. It's because he has a stutter man. But
Yeah.
anyway, there's Keisha, and she's just. You want to talk about characters who are always ready and about to fucking smoke? There's Keisha. Keisha, the black one, is like "Rock-a-bye, baby," which was weird. But then in the following scene, they.
Is that the one that hops from G Money to Nino?
No, the dark skinned one that shoots motherfuckers in the face.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, the dark skinned one that's just like she talks weird and like extra fucking quote unquote I guess hood and like extra on like the way she says things.
Spoilers, ran at a bunch of dudes with Uzis like this.
Keisha was about to.
Are you trying to get shot?
But my first standout moment for me, like, that was just like, damn, was like right after they talk about, we're gonna take over a fucking, apartment complex. This is what we're gonna do. And G Buddy pulls up to some dude on the street. He's like, hey, Rasta Man, hey, real quick, Nino wants you to know your services no longer required. What? Your bumba and Keisha just, bam, shoots the dude in the fucking face. And G Buddy's like, that's how you kill a motherfucker. Blow his brains out in broad daylight. And drives away as they replay the sound clip of Keisha going, rock-a-bye, baby. So they knew it was said weird, and then they just decided to play it again.
Yeah.
But it was like, oh, these motherfuckers are serious. He just literally just rolled up to the dude, because I had to rewind it to even see what G Money told the guy, because that's how fucking random it was. It was just like, hey, Rasta Man, I'm gonna say like one sentence. What? Your bumba. Like, damn.
I mean, when they want time to move fast, this movie is fast in this movie. When they want shit to occur, they'll just have it occur.
Good hour, 40-minute long movie. So they like.
Yeah, it's about that point where I'm like, is this like 1991's American Gangster? Like, is this like the American Gangster movie, but instead of heroin, it's crack, and instead of the 70s, it's 80s, Wesley Snipes is Denzel Washington.
Yeah, it is Frank Lucas type
Ice-T is Russell Crowe. It's at about this point where I'm like, is that a similar vibe? Is that going to be this kind of? Yeah, that's it's about at that point where I'm like, okay, is this going to be like Wesley Snipes Rise to the Top, Ice-T
trying to stop him,
getting deep into trying to get him? There's no hiding it. I'm pretty into this. I was into this movie. It locked me in. Other than one performance that was their first performance, and
it had to have
been. It was literally their first, and they got much better on Law and Order.
Yes, it had to have been their first. I came to that conclusion just by watching, and I agree with your statement. Anyway, what's the standout moment for you?
Let's see. I'm scrolling through here. I mean, I don't know I don't have chronological. I feel like everything that I have is deep into the movie because I don't know. I don't have anything particularly stand out from like the climb up.
That's fair. I mean, my next one is like Chris Rock when we see him.
That's what I was thinking.
With the girlfriend. Leading into the rehab and all that shit.
I was thinking first initially him showing up at the food bank thing, which is again another American Gangster thing. Like they're kind of portraying, like, I'm wondering if the writers maybe had that real dude. What would you say his name was? I forgot. Frank Lucas. Wondering if the writers had someone like that in mind, or specifically him in mind as kind of just like
this is what we're basing
bullet
it off
points
of. Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah. Because that's another very similar note of the two films. Other than Chris Rock, who hobbles up. At first, it's like I'm on my heels. I'm back on my heels because the makeup's a lot. They did some strong choices, and it's a really dramatic change from what we saw last of him.
Yeah.
And so because of that, the makeup choices feel probably even a little stronger. And so like you're on your heels. Like, is this like in a Living Color bit about ready to happen here?
Yeah.
Or something, and then it doesn't. Like, he's like, I'm sure someone could criticize it, but this is again another person who is very early on in their career and is asked to do this dramatic work as a comedian, and I think he's doing a really good job.
As do I.
You can absolutely tell that he is trying. He's putting in the work, and I think it pays off. Like, fucking like 98% of the time.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. It's like, for someone that we don't see do a lot of serious work, he did a damn good job, in my opinion. Especially, that's why the rehab montage of him, like,
that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The parts with Ice-T are ridiculous. The looking out, like, they're so fucking cheesy, and I feel like there are it's they're rough. I feel like that's not on the fault of the actors on that one. That's on the fault of the director, who is also pretty new in that part of his life as well. He's done a few TV series. This is his first film. He's done he's done 5 episodes of some television shows before Mario Van Peebles directed New Jack City, with the personal recommendation sign of approval from Clint Eastwood to Warner Brothers Studios, who own the independent movie studio that helped Mario finance this film.
Okay.
Is that weird? Do people call him Mario? That feels weird to just call him Mario.
Mario. Mr. Van Peeps.
Mr. Van Peebles, or Mario Van Peebles is what I want to say.
Instead of just Mario, you got to say the whole thing.
Yeah, because right, yeah. Just calling him Mario feels wrong somehow. Mario Van Peebles.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, I feel like this is the montage is, although like I said, Chris Rock is doing some good work in there. It's kind of super cheesy at times. And the choices, some of the gazing out the window, the looking down at the curled up addict in his withdrawals, reaching out, oh, I should touch to comfort him, shake, no, I can't, and pull back my hand. Like, it's just like so kind of cliche stuff. That's what really got me there.
Fair. And I can see that. It was more just Chris Rock stood out more to me in those scenes than Ice-T. Just like, damn, because we can go over and over again, or we're going over and over again about how not used you are to seeing him in that, or you or me is what I meant. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so that's why that stood out to me, just like, damn. And then, so Chris Rock's character on crack gets clean and decides to pay Ice-T back by going undercover as part of Wesley Snipes' crew to take him down. Oh, I will say a funny moment from early in the movie. The older black dude who is very against the idea of Nino Brown moving into his apartment complex We see him early in the movie at a police station, just like
Bill Cobbs.
Yeah, Bill Cobbs. He's like, why the hell won't you get this guy out of here? You guys ain't doing shit. And then the scene cuts to like the cops talking as they go to the room, and you can just hear him still yelling the whole time. And it was when I saw that, I'm like, damn, he's still going. I went back and realized that was kind of like a one-shot type deal that starts with him yelling at the guy. They move, and when they move to the door, guy comes, one of the main characters comes through and cuts him off, and the camera just follows him. And so the guy's monologue just continues. You think this so while they're talking. I bet you don't. That man, I like his performance too. That
he's one of those guys.
Bill Cobbs' character does not like Wesley Snipes in the least.
Not at all. Yeah, I feel like he's one of those guys that every time he pops up, he's exactly what he's asked to be. He's perfect in what every time he pops up. I feel like it's a really good sign.
Yeah. So, that dude's awesome. But yeah, there's other shit in the movie. So eventually, Chris Rock joins Wesley Snipes' group, but he relapses because he gets in too deep, or he goes undercover as part of Wesley.
Man, I was right there with Judd Nelson's character in those moments of like you are gonna get this dude killed. What are you doing? They just kept pushing it.
Yeah.
And Ice-T does that bullshit. What are you going to do that speech for? What are you going to do that speech for to his face? Get all up in his face and be like, do you know how many people are counting on you? I'm counting on you. You owe me. You owe your life. You owe your family. You owe your city. Like everybody in this world, you could work for the rest of your life on paying back us, and you will never pay us back. Like, what the fuck? Why are you going to tell that to an addict that you're also forced to be around the drug that they're addicted to all day long?
Yeah,
insane.
He sent them there.
Insane.
Like, no, you're going in there. They're like, everyone's like, this is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. But yeah,
it was a good idea the first few times.
Yeah,
but then he was gonna get all he was gonna get. He could have worked there for 7 months, and Nino would have never stepped foot on camera doing illegal activities in front of Pookie, because that is not how Nino rolls.
Clearly.
Like that's just not gonna happen. And so the second he got like his interview and then he got promoted to inside, you get that footage that first day and then you never go back.
Yeah. You get the footage that stuff's there. At least you got G Money on camera.
Yeah, and you got evidence that there's a fucking metric ton of crack.
Yeah, why wouldn't they have just used that?
Because they can't apply that to Nino, and they want to get Nino.
Well, you know what helps? Starting cutting down somewhere. If someone seems invincible, you find the weak link, which G Money was a weak link in all that as we eventually go, because they do the thing everybody knows that in film, at least, if you're in the first 25% of the film, you should never do. Swear that nothing's gonna come between you and your best friend, because something will come between you and your best friend, and chances are it's going to be a love interest.
Not only that, certainly do not have a catchphrase about your undying oath of protection to each other. That could potentially be called back in your final moments of life.
But yes, Uniqua joins the film eventually, Uniqua, that is a name. I've never heard that in my life, but fair enough.
She
is all about Wesley Snipes.
Wow, what an awful, awful character. What an awful, awful character.
I
I was
don't like
not
her.
I was not interested in her character at all. At all. And her attitude and her aura that the actress was emanating for her character made me also not like her in any form. Like I these scenes were the hardest for me to get through because I just did not like this woman so much. Sometimes that just clicks in my brain where I just do not like a person
No, that's
and it
fine.
like
And
struggles.
her character was terrible. Yes, she's all about Wesley Snipes, despite the fact that she's literally dating. Like, I'm pretty sure that was his brother too. Were they literally brothers?
I mean, I don't know if we're ever confirmed if they're blood brothers. They look nothing alike. But that can still happen, obviously.
Yeah.
But we're
They're brothers.
I believe, yeah, I believe we're to be told that they at least treat each other as brothers, as blood brothers. But I don't know if they're necessarily blood.
Okay.
Like, there's never a confirmation of like mom used to, or like.
True.
There's no real backstory other than that they're brothers.
Yeah, the only time that their mother even gets, or Wesley's mom even gets mentioned is near the end when he just turns to the camera. Hi, Mom. But yeah, so she tries to do her whole thing to sow dissension and does so. Very effective. It's super effective. Fucking G Money hates Nino to the
Fucking
point.
immediately start smoking crack.
Yeah. Yeah, start smoking crack after everything, after Chris Rock gets discovered and murdered in the predictable fashion because he showed up high to work one day and drew attention to himself.
Yeah, you knew in that instant that he was dead.
Yeah.
The second he started. That was unfortunate. Death of Pookie.
Yeah.
Rip Pookie. At least he didn't explode.
True. I liked Wesley's monologue at the table right after the raid when he came in like, who knows what's going on about this? Don't nobody know? Clearly you gotta know over here. Keisha gotta know something. Dutta man. Like going around to everybody at the table. I liked, like you said, I just loved Wesley Snipes' performance in this movie. As Nino Brown.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Like I don't know where we're at time wise, but are we ready to just kind of talk overall?
We can.
Image of it. Cause like the thing that I was just holding, like, I really, really liked this movie. And the thing about this movie that I think is really interesting that I think, like, and nothing against Mario Van Peebles and Ice-T, who all have to start somewhere. And ended up doing very serviceable work. And this is a very enjoyable movie that I just said that I really liked. But like, if somebody else is playing opposite Wesley Snipes and like John Singleton at this point is making this movie, or somebody of a more refined hand is making this film, like, I think Wesley Snipes is like fucking nominated for an Oscar for this film. I think this is taken as a very serious film and a very piece of dramatic work on his part, where he does very little action because of the design of his character, always standing behind bodyguards. In the grand scheme of things, does very little gunplay, has no fight, in fact gets his ass fucking whooped by Ice-T at the end of the film. Like, a very unlike what we will eventually see as Wesley Snipes' career. I was captivated by him, And although I liked this movie, I feel like this movie could have been
So much better.
a masterpiece. I don't want to. It feels like I'm poo-pooing it by calling it like the Black Fellas or something like that. Or like American Gangster,
Yeah.
10 years before American Gangster.
Yeah.
It could have been a film way ahead of its time, even more than, obviously it made a ton of money. But I'm not. Let's see. We're going into awards.
Yeah. No,
It's okay. It's like soundtrack stuff
okay.
mostly. But yeah, I feel like this could be an award-winning film if it just, and again, we all got to start somewhere. I would imagine nobody makes a perfect film.
Correct.
I haven't seen a lot of the big directors' original films. We almost had a moment where we did a Steven Spielberg first, because I have not seen one of those. So I would imagine there's some kinks that you're figuring out on the fly. You're learning as you're going.
Yeah.
I think a more experienced hand. This is an incredible movie. This is a movie on another level, on the back of Wesley Snipes' performance.
I'll agree, because I definitely could tell, like, early on, I'm like, all right, if nobody else came to that set to make a serious movie, or to be serious on this movie, it was Wesley fucking Snipes. And he put it in from all kinds of, like, different emotions and stuff throughout the film. Like, when we get near fucking in with the goddamn final confrontation between him and G Money. And you can see that while we know his character is irredeemably evil, because we saw the rest of the movie, he still he still cares about G Money, despite what he's gonna do to G Money in a second. In his own weird way, it's like, yeah, this was gonna happen, but damn, why couldn't it be the way we said it was gonna be? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
so Wesley Snipes even had done Major League. He did Mo Better Blues, and then this film is his third film. So this is, I have to imagine that, yeah, this is the making of the superstar. I mean, he is declaring himself a superstar for the next 7 years, which is pretty amazing. I mean, multiple films a year. It's crazy. Damn, the amount of work this dude has put in.
yeah. No, Wesley Snipes is awesome. And yeah, just I guess if there is one more standout moment, just to not take too much time, it's the end. Haha, I get off in jail. Man. And here goes Bill Cobbs. Idolater! Your soul is required in hell! Shoots that dude. I had remembered that scene. I forgot it was from this movie or exactly what the old dude was saying, but the imagery of him just coming up the stairs.
I love the line. Yeah, there are some great one-liners in this movie, and yeah,
your $5 ass before she would make change.
What's the thing that Wesley says in the opening when they're dangling the guy off the bridge, saying something's a marathon, but
damn, something.
But I'm running out of.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's something that usually ends in run or something, but he ended up saying doing a marathon and changing it to you've run out of time or some shit. See ya, and I wouldn't want to be ya. It's just like,
Oh, fucking! I'm just in the quotes page. All right, I'm gonna
All
spend a
right,
moment
let's
here for
go.
a second. Ice-T saying, "I want to shoot you so bad, my dick's hard."
That's right. I remember him saying that.
Okay, money talks and bullshit runs a marathon. So see ya and wouldn't want to be ya.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, it's something that usually is a walks or run, but yeah, money talks and bullshit runs a marathon. So see ya, and I want to be ya.
Idolater, your soul is required in hell. That's a great line. That's like Gandalf shit.
And I just loved that character's
I never
through
liked
line.
you anyway, pretty motherfucker.
After he stabbed dude in the head. I'm like,
Yep.
dude anyway, petty motherfucker. Such a good movie. Or it got good lines and shit like that.
Oh yeah, it
Good
is.
movie.
It is.
Good movie. But yeah, so what roles would you like to play in this movie?
Scotty, help me! I'm gonna die.
That Hood Cinema thing I told you about, where the guy reviews like Hood movies or whatever. When he had like that, as well as when Chris Rock relapsed, he had the whole like sound. Everybody hates Chris, like from his fucking shows. He's like, "God help me, I'm gonna die." But,
Oh my god.
but
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know. Like maybe, fuck. I could. I don't know. I'll try it. I'll do the one white dude that's in the movie. That's fine with me.
Well, there's some people that are at least, not dark in pigment.
Anything you say can and will be used against you in a motherfucking court of law. I think he kicks him.
Ice-T. Me, obviously, me, I like the lead roles. So
Are you gonna go for Nino?
yeah, I just because it would be a hell of a fun role to do, that just because of the ranges that you go
Can
through
you
with
slowly cry?
him. Slowly, meaning I have some setup. Yeah, right. Yeah.
No, I mean like I want like tear.
Oh no,
Tear. It's insane, man.
That's
It's
ridiculous.
insane. People don't
Like I
normally
said,
cry
like I'm
like that. If you
saying.
think about how people cry,
Yeah. No,
people don't normally just cry like that.
That I cannot.
That's probably why that image is so iconic, is because you don't see that
yeah.
image of like,
Yeah, I would definitely have to learn how to do that. But it would still be a fun, as far as like a fun role. Hell, I'd even be fine with being Washington. Ice-T's role. So I could do that. I feel like I could do that role.
G Money.
Yeah, like I think any of the like big three.
I had my Jimmy waxed every day last week. Says G Money.
Only for Wesley, it's nice to be like, oh, I know your ass is lying. Jimmy Wax. That's how I know you ain't got blood. But the fucking movie's awesome. But yeah, like I think any of the like big three like main roles, Nino, Washington, G Money would be fun roles to do.
But not Scotty.
Which one was Scotty?
Not Ice-T.
Ice-T was Washington. Like they called him Washington at one point.
Right.
His real name's Scotty. Yes, that's what I meant when I said Washington. Yeah, so Nino, Ice-T, or Wesley, Ice-T, or Alan Payne. Yes.
Yep.
All right. So,
I mean, anybody doing Nino is hard.
well, yes,
Anybody
it's
taking on
going
that
to be
role now
hard.
is hard. He put a stamp on that motherfucker.
Oh yeah, no. My goal would not be. This is just us like, alternate universe. We get to be in these movies.
Yeah. You would
Wesley.
have to turn it. You would have to do a whole new take.
Yeah, I would not be able to do exactly like him. I'm not saying I would.
Yeah. You got to immediately go in there thinking like, I'm not doing a Wesley Snipes impersonation. Like you gotta find your own whole lane.
I agree.
Like, maybe he's got a limp.
Now maybe I might be able to do. I might be able to emulate Ice-T's performance for Scotty.
I think you could do a great job as Scotty.
I think I could at least get close to that Ice-T level. Because he's on a level all his own. But it's his first film, and he's gotten so much better since.
He's
actually really awesome.
Ice-T's a legend.
He is. Ice-T's awesome. So, final thoughts.
I've given it to you, man.
Yeah,
I've sucked this movie's dick so fucking hard.
That you want to shoot somebody? I agree. I actually really like the movie. The message is nice. Wesley and Chris also, for me, I love both their performances in here, as well as G Money. For the most part, we've hinted at it.
Nearly everybody is doing a really great job.
Yeah, that's. I think the way I had put it in my notes was like some of the actors could have come a little harder for the movie, for a couple takes, maybe do a couple extra takes based on what we've seen.
Low budget film. It's a low budget film.
Just based on what we've seen them be capable of. It's like
usually you get 2 takes. I know
you better, but still great. But if anything, if anyone had a reason to not like the movie, it would be the cheesy moments that some could be. But that would be the only reason, because the movie
that's the key. Those are the things. Like I feel like that montage is way different in somebody else's directorial hands, or maybe even not a montage. Maybe it's something else to use to depict the passage of time from clean Pookie to sober junkie Pookie to sober Pookie.
I mean, what you call it? Ray does a similar montage. That movie with a different director, and Jamie Foxx won an Oscar. So, to your point, that's I think the only thing that held this movie back is like you said, but it's fantastic nonetheless, in my opinion. And I'm happy I finally suggested it this week.
Absolutely. I'm happy you did too.
All right. So, let's see. What's going on next week?
Next week isn't that now this week is episode 52, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking it would be really cool if we took a moment to pause and look back at the films that we've watched over the year and just kind of reevaluate what's in this catalog that we've kind of created for ourselves.
Yeah.
Is that something that you'd be interested in?
I would. I'd be very interested in that.
Cool.
I would. Yes. Yes, I would be interested. Fair enough. So that's what we're gonna do. Year special. Not even. If you want to see some stuff that we may be referencing in said special, obviously check out the playlist on the channel. You can also catch me elsewhere on YouTube, the Whatever We Want podcast, new episodes every week, every Wednesday. I do it with a good friend of mine and good friend of the show, Super Jazz.
Jazz.
as nature intended. And I also have a Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi, Giotavi. Come
on in. Stop on by.
Thank you very much. Bill, you got something you want to say to the folks? Got something going on here?
No.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Adios.